you're awake. How about that? Whoa, easy there, easy. You've been out cold a couple of days now. Why don't you just relax a second? Get your bearings. Let's see what the damage is. How about your name? Can you tell me your name? I can't say it's what I'd have picked for you, but if that's your name, that's your name. I'm Doc Mitchell. Welcome to Good Springs. Now, I hope you don't mind, but I had to go rooting around there in your noggin to pull all the bits of lead out. I take pride in my needlework, but you'd better tell me if I left anything out of place. How'd I do? Well, I got most of it right anyway. Stuff that mattered. Okay. No sense keeping you in bed anymore. Let's see if we can get you on your feet. All right. Come with me, I'll see you out. Here.
You must be the one, Doc. Give me...
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
Howdy, partner.
Beg your pardon.
How may I be of service?
Hey, hey, baby. Hello, babe. What in the god?
Benny's gonna show you your platinum pussy. Hey! Hi!
Well, howdy, partner. Where to, partner? Head out.
Engaging target.
Hey, you there.
Hey, no one.
It can be bought. It can be founded. Make and route.
Howdy, friend. The paths we're following are slow going, so you might as well keep your ears open and listen to what old Jed has to say. A few decades back, folks in the NCR started to hear about a community in northern Utah called New Canaan. Didn't know much about them, except that they were religious folks, sent out missionaries to talk to the tribes. We've seen our share of cults, but the New Canaanites, they were honest traders. Good fighters, too. Raiders wouldn't tangle with them. But then, the Legion appeared in Arizona. I reckon you know all about them. Turns out Caesar's first war chief, the Malpace legate, was a New Canaanite, Joshua Graham. Legend goes that Graham was the meanest, toughest son of a bitch in the whole damn Legion. The New Canaanites wouldn't talk about him. They were ashamed. Guess I can't blame them. Well, at Hoover Dam, the Malpace legate finally met his match. Hanlon and Oliver kicked his New Canaanite butt right back over the river. Caesar had to make an example for the others, to show them that even at the highest level, failure wouldn't be tolerated. He had Graham covered in pitch, lit on fire, and thrown into the Grand Canyon. People say he didn't even scream on the way down. Not long after, some of the slaves and tribals started to talk. Said Graham wasn't dead. Shouldn't have been any surprise. All this talk bothered Caesar, so he forbade anyone from speaking his name. Wanted to erase Joshua Graham from history. He got his wish. Joshua Graham disappeared, and in his place came legends of the burned man walking the wastes. Probably just a tribal ghost story. But New Canaan's been silent for a long time. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe the Malpace legate is dead. Or maybe Joshua Graham did crawl out of that canyon and finally found his way back home. I know.
Sorry to bother you with reality, old Jed.
And so it was that the conflict between the New Canaanites and the Whitelegs was finally resolved. The courier's involvement had tipped the scale, shifting the fragile balance of power. Already weakened by several seasons of bad trading, the Happy Trails Caravan Company was devastated by the failure of its expedition. The New Canaanites never re-established ties with the caravan. Their experiences with outsiders near the Great Salt Lake and in Zion had been far too negative. Within 6 months, the Happy Trails Caravan Company was bankrupted and dissolved. And with that, the courier walked out of the history of the tribes of Zion and back to the gathering storm of the Mojave Wasteland.
Whoa there,
Hold her right there.
I'll take this from here.
Welcome.
Hello?
Stop!
It's hard to see from this place.
Oh!
I had dinner at the Ultra Lux the other night. I told them my steak tastes funny. They said it was a clown. I ate...
Hi!
Step closer to the demonstration area, please. Okay.
You did a super. Here's some big news.
Enjoy your time.
So many crashes in this run. I think I'm still ahead though, even though that dashing segment was awful.
Madre Casino. We all have. The legend, the curses, foolishness about it lying in the middle of the city of the dead, buried beneath a blood-red cloud. A bright, shining monument luring treasure hunters to their doom. The world's most famous stars and entertainers were invited to its grand opening. An invitation was a sign of exclusiveness. The opening was supposed to symbolize a road to a brighter future, not just for the world, but for all who came to its doors. A chance for anyone to begin again. Except the Sierra Madre never opened. The war froze it in time, like a big flashbulb going off. The grand opening
one big ending of humanity. It's still out there, in the wastes, preserved, just waiting for someone to crack it open. But getting to it, that's not the hard part. It's letting go.
Are you listening? I am short on patience.
Watch out for the villa inhabitants. They're difficult to kill unless you chop them apart. If you can, blow them up or disintegrate them. Speakers and radios interfere with the bomb caller frequency and can trigger the detonators prematurely.
Knew you would come. Below the cage. Down to where I am. Maybe you saw the letters I scratched on the villa walls. A little farther. Follow my voice. That's it. The one in the cage? That's... Can't take any chances, though. You may be some victim who simply stumbled down here. If so, can't let you let dog out. No, not yet.
Back in the cage.
Of course you do.
The villa's comm speakers have aged poorly. There are damaged speakers and shielded ones. The damaged ones you can destroy at range. Don't get close. You can't switch them off like a radio. Picking up an emitter signature. Watch for security holograms. Dangerous. Don't shoot them. Attacking them is useless.
Those machines feed on Sierra Madre chips.
Picking up signals near your location. Detonators. Watch for traps.
It's your own fault you're here. Couldn't leave well enough alone. Won't get rid of me.
That tourist crosses me, they'll regret it. Even if they don't, they still might.
The Sierra
Don't have to take the long way back. There's a shortcut across the sea.
Kill this one before they call others.
Good.
Was that him float?
Sierra? Those machines, Sinclair's little gifts, lasted longer than...
You're at the Ghouls Gala area. Now make him stay.
God damn. He got stuck somewhere. I think. Yeah, he got unconscious. Fucking hell. This is such a run-ender.
Feels like someone...
Sure glad one of us knows what you're doing.
He can usually handle like 1 or 2 on his own, but apparently not this time.
So...
So, something needs to die. Kill this.
Okay, run under part 2. Went well this time.
So here we...
Though Knox get stuck and waste a bunch of time.
The bell tower. That's where you'll trigger the Gala event. It's a ways up. I'm sure you'll find a way to climb up there.
some new strats coming up in this segment too, so hopefully I can save some time later.
This is the past you're walking through. Few have ever seen it. No one else ever will. I work for it. It'll give me what I need before I leave, and it'll always welcome me back.
Now, look for a way to wake this ghost up. Remind it, it's got guests.
You woke it up good. Emit a free... Damn casinos. Maybe something can help you now, security shut down. After you're done looking around, head to the lobby. Casinos will deal with you. Hurry up and deal with the FP reject. He's of no use to us.
more being going to make can hear list of putting to protect you. Math die. Help us. Going to make casino burn. No more being. Stop what you're doing.
That idiot's opened the gas valves. A single spark, or he sets off his column.
You?
The casino's going to burn.
You've got one of the floors reestablished. Good. Accessing the music archives now. 2 more to go. Oh, it seems the casino has uninvited guests. The villa pounding at the doors.
Correct.
Now they found a way inside.
I'll break him.
Something's gotta give.
Now, deal with the ghoul. This has gone on long enough.
All right, your resource.
Deal with them. Another try and leave yourself. Almost have the entire code what I need from the music archive. Once you have the last fragment, you can thread the archives together at the main...
Find the mute and deal with her. Floor's buzzing with emitter signatures. Watch out for holograms.
What's with my collar? Elijah? Or... No, it's you. Even better. This is Christine. Voice back. You got off on the wrong floor. You're trapped. Hope you can make it past security. I've been looking forward to taking care of you since the gala event. You and Elijah were working together this whole time. Should have known. Just from your actions. You have his outlook on things. My signal frequency is hot, although I'm sure my collar would let me know. I could just...
Your collar's ticking. Get out of that...
So come on and get me, bitch.
You have the last fragment. That's all I need. Now, go to the main lobby terminal. Thread the music sequence together.
Fucking hell. I hate that guy with the gas tank.
You begged me to do the same to you while the holograms are tracing lasers across your face.
Took way longer than it needed to.
Staying in the vault. Think it'll protect you? No. I don't think so. I'll have the Sierra Madre kill you for me. You can't beat all the casino's defenses. Did you really think you could steal from me? Sierra. Pre-war junk. I'll put you down myself. Time is against you.
I think I chose the wrong options, so this might be fucked. Yeah. Lose some time, but nothing I can do. So slow. All my time is gone. Partly from the Dean getting unconscious and partly from having this section go bad.
Huh? What's this? Alarms. What? Think you can run this entire... You've heard stories of the Sierra Madre Casino. We all have.
But since I left Dog alive, this cutscene should be like 8 seconds shorter.
And the ending.
Dog, free of the voice inside his head, and no longer waiting on the voice of the master, wandered back west. His hunger never ended. Often, small communities would suddenly vanish. They were assumed to have been hit by wasteland creatures and dragged away. Dogs, Brahmin, and humans alike.
Dean Domino. Entertainer, singer, thief. Had his last show on the Sierra Madre stage. The heist he spent over 200 years planning fell apart, just as the first, by underestimating his partner's strength. Not
Speaking
long
of
after
dogs,
the courier left the villa, the lights in the theater shut off, one by one. Only Dean's hologram remained on the stage, singing silently to an empty room. Still, as consumed as he had been with its riches and ruin, the Sierra Madre had held him captive long ago.
Christine, scarred by her hunt for Elijah, and unable to let him go, perished in the Sierra Madre Casino. She never completed her mission, nor did she stop to consider what had driven her to accept the mission in the first place. Obsession is another form of greed, a lesson that Christine never learned.
You've heard of the Sierra Madre Casino. We all have. The legend, the curses. Some foolishness about it lying in the middle of a city of dead. A city of ghosts, buried beneath a blood-red cloud. A bright, shining monument luring treasure hunters to their doom. An illusion that you can begin again. Change your fortunes. Finding it, though, that's not the hard part. It's letting go.
job.
There you are.
My internet is just fine now. I haven't dropped any frames. So I've been continuously streaming for an hour. It's still nothing. I don't even know how to stream on YouTube. Taking Stimpaks here is a waste, or what? I can just sleep in a bit later, no matter how much damage I take. So if anyone is able to load the stream, please tell me. If it's just shit for everyone. Where is it? There's a hole in this rock somewhere that you can just fall through. I can't find it. Should be here around somewhere. Here it is.
Next week on
Thought that explosion.
So you came. Couriers finally did. They blew up the lands west and east of the Mojave, damning them all to hell. The act was discovered 200 years later as other couriers explored the Mojave wastes. There, they saw NCR relics, reminders of their once proud history. Hopeville burned lightless in the night, invisible fires of radiation scorching it from within and without. It is said a man still walked its streets with a tattered jacket, an old world flag etched on the back. He remained there, perhaps as punishment for the scars he left on the wastes, or a reminder of a history he could not forget. For Ulysses, his journey was over. The courier had been the end of his road. As for the courier, she turned her back on her home for the second time and made her way back, navigating the treachery of the divide. Tunnelers and the marked men avoided the lone figure, as if recognizing the courier's right to passage, or out of fear. The courier walked until she stood again upon the edge of the divide, the last road she would walk before the second battle for Hoover Dam. There, beside her feet, was a final package from one courier to another, a footlocker bearing a gift and a message. But that message, it is something for couriers to carry, and for them alone. The lights flickered across the divide, reminders that the old world histories persist and find meaning in the present. It said, war never changes. Women do, through the roads they walk, and this road has reached its end.
Hello? Can anyone load the stream?
In the years before the Great War, Big Mountain had been the home to the brightest minds of the 21st century. Scientists of vision were drawn to the facility to tackle the greatest technological challenges of the era. They sought to create a new world, fueled by technology for the benefit of all mankind. Sonic emitters, space-age alloys, DNA hybridization, force field particle research, autodoc advances in cranial, cardiac, and trauma surgery. The hopes and dreams of a century became realities in the electronic forges of Big Mountain. The nucleus of this research was the Dome, a huge stone facility that held the labs of every science known to man. It was a think tank where no problem could not be solved, where no question could not be answered. The Great War brought a new energy to Big Mountain and its scientists. Although sheltered from the front lines, the scientists waged their own war, fighting their battles at the atomic level. Equations and calculations marched endlessly across chalkboards and computer terminals toward one solution: winning the war. For years, the minds and computers of Big Mountain were a blaze of trajectories, weapon schematics, and nuclear theories. The problems began to outpace the solutions, first geometrically, then exponentially. As the war escalated, so did the questions. On the night of October 23rd, 2077, the scientists received an answer that put all their questions to rest. In the aftermath, Big Mountain's silent experiments went to sleep, their creators slowly dying in the new world that had been left behind. And the great stone in the middle of the Big Empty lay untouched, filled with countless technological wonders. Wonders that, in the end, had been answers to the wrong question. If it isn't Moby.
Down, boy. Stop it.
Our Lobotomite, 3. Dr. Mobius, 0. Did you retrieve? As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
Although, truth be told, The courier had barely explored the crater in an attempt to rush through and be done with the whole thing. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
The Forbidden Zone continued to be, true to its name, forbidden. No more robo-scorpions were sighted in its canyons. Big Mountain became even emptier, devoid of Dr. Mobius's proclamations forecasting the destruction of anything that dared possess sentience. Still, it is said he lived on in the equations inscribed on the floor and walls of the Forbidden Zone dome. A cobweb tracery of symbols that told of 1,000 brilliant thoughts, now lost to time.
The sink was strangely silent, which it had never been in previous years. The lack of personality modules made the base lifeless and sterile.
As the courier made his way through the X8 facility, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. They eventually created new cyberdogs to root out commie traitors from the wasteland. Traitors like Betsy Bright, Richie Marcus. Although they couldn't seem to find any commies, so they turned on themselves, howling sonic barks that echoed miles across the landscape.
The infiltration program in X-13 continued to scan for the subject and the stealth suit prototype long after the test was over. Frustrated and unable to find its lost technology, X-13 expanded its network of laser tripwires, sensors, and robo-brains out across Big Mountain. This glittering blue light beam forest cleanly bisected anything that entered its depths, slicing them into small segmented parts for easy disposal.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
The think tank basement, filled with the lobotomized robotical frames of the doctors, now served as a graveyard. The monitors had recorded the battle in its entirety, including the think tank's final, shrill, terrified screams, whimpers, and pleas for mercy. They broadcast these humiliating last moments as a warning to anyone approaching the perimeter that other smarty pants were not welcome. The courier was the inheritor of the Big Empty, and there was room for only one will in the halls of the think tank dome.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, Old World Blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
Don't you love seeing...
You must get to the control room and install the override.
Another kill to my name.
An envoy of victory.
Caesar on the cross. Guess it ain't no secret.
You did a...
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Goodsprings cheated death once again, and the Mojave wasteland was forever changed. The courier, with the aid of Yes Man, drove both the Legion and the NCR